Coming up on Cronkite News tonight, the CDC changes guidance on COVID testing for those who are fully vaccinated.
And later, we examine the controversy behind teaching critical race theory in schools.
On Break It Down, the pros and cons of theaters versus streaming services.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Sinead Hickey.
And I'm Rob Winder. Thank you for joining us.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention updated its guidance suggesting vaccinated people exposed to COVID-19 should get tested. This is a reversal of their guidelines from May that said you do not have to get tested if fully vaccinated. They say those who have been exposed should wait 3 to 5 days and get tested. In addition, they recommend the same people should wear a mask for 2 weeks or until a negative test result is received. The guidance came on the same day they announced mask suggestions. In an effort to get more people vaccinated, President Biden announced a plan today to create incentives for the shot, including plans to ask local governments to offer unvaccinated people $100 to get the vaccine.
While President Biden is allowing the eviction moratorium to expire on Saturday, many worry about how to handle rent. But the city of Phoenix has ways to help those hurt financially by the pandemic by providing emergency rent funding. The city has allocated $51 million to help with rent, utilities, water, and trash. The Maricopa County Constable told Fox 10 he is unsure how the eviction load is going to be in the city. He said the city is dispersing about $1.5 million a week through the program, and they have about half the money left to help residents. President Biden said he would support a plan from the CDC to extend an eviction moratorium. But the Supreme Court says the center would need congressional approval before being able to extend the moratorium.
This morning, Maricopa County workers started moving the 2.1 million ballots and other subpoenaed materials from the audit of the 2020 election. The workers are transferring the ballots to the Maricopa County Technical Education Center. In a tweet this morning, the Maricopa Elections Department said it expected the transfer to take all day. The audit was set in motion April 23rd after 2 previous independent audits of the election found no evidence of problems. The results from the audit have yet to be released.
Despite saying he planned to resign, former Republican Secretary of State Ken Bennett decided to remain in his position as the Arizona Senate's liaison to the Republican-led audit of the 2020 election. Capitol Media Services reports he made a deal with Senate President Karen Fann to remain after she blocked him from entering the fairgrounds last week. He was blocked from the review after he gave data to outside election experts without telling Fann or Cyber Ninja employees. Despite the subpoena sent earlier this week, Maricopa County has not announced their plans on what they will do. Their deadline is Monday at 1 p.m.
The Department of Justice is addressing voting concerns. Federal authorities issued new guidance to states and voters to remind them of their responsibilities and their rights. The audit memo addressing 2 main concerns: that election records are properly retained and preserved in accordance with civil rights law, and that audit procedures don't intimidate voters. This comes as Arizona Republicans are reviewing the 2020 results and as GOP lawmakers across the country consider legislation making it harder to vote.
With back to school right around the corner, parents and experts are discussing critical race theory and whether it should be taught in classes. Cronkite News reporter Kimberly Severio Batista spoke with 2 scholars about what it is and what it means for schools.
Critical race theory emerged in the 1980s as legal scholars began analyzing the ways institutional racism was affecting people of color through laws and enforcement.
It was looking at things like sentencing disparities. It was looking at who was being prosecuted for particular crimes, like drug crimes. And it was really trying to understand how the law and all of its tentacles, policing, probation, parole, sentencing, how all of those things were manifesting themselves in the lives of people of color.
Conservative politicians have argued against that view, calling it anti-American or reverse racism.
For them, it's this sort of political, cultural issue that rallies people, particularly those who are conservative, around a set of ideas. And critical race theory for them is this sort of anti-American, reverse racist form of indoctrination that they fear is going to undermine the country, turn their children against them.
Critics have raised concerns that CRT is divisive and shouldn't be taught. And lawmakers in Arizona have already voted to ban certain types of anti-racism training. But UCLA PhD student Brian Zamora believes learning to have dialogue and understanding different points of view about critical race theory will help create understanding.
If we can learn to be in dialogue once again, if we can learn to put our phones down for a second and have a conversation and learn about what some of the other viewpoints are, then I think we'll be able to have a more equitable, democratic start to having these conversations. But if we don't, I don't really see an end to it.
Critical race theory came from a workshop led by UCLA law professor Kimberly Crenshaw in 1989. Legal scholars here at UCLA and across the country are using it to teach law students to analyze racial inequalities from the past and present. Zamora believes it's dangerous for ideas to be limited on what can or cannot be discussed. It limits students the ability to think freely.
But when you limit the possibility for new knowledge to be adapted or gained by any student, you're limiting that student's capacity to become an even more genuine person, a more authentic person, a more active person in our society.
For diverse communities, this means CRT can lead to empowerment. In Los Angeles, Kimberly Silverio Bautista, Cronkite News.
For more on critical race theory and how it impacts us here in Arizona, tune in tomorrow for part 2 of this series.
Coming up after the break, how did the rain affect Arizona's drought? We talked with National Weather Service to get the full picture.
Still to come on the show, a new survey shows students are feeling behind due to the pandemic. Don't go away.
When you support Arizona PBS, you plant a seed. Seeds that provide educational outreach in our community. Seeds that put our digital resources to work. Seeds that foster the trusted news coverage you expect from PBS. And seeds that continue the amazing PBS programs you love. But our garden can't keep growing without your support. Visit our website to see all the ways you can help our garden grow. Plant a seed with Arizona PBS today.
At Cronkite News, learn to work behind the camera for studio production. Our students spend time learning the ins and outs of all that it takes to run a newscast. From setting up the studio to building exciting graphics, studio production provides a job for everyone. Whether it be running audio, technical directing, or directing the newscast, students can experience the action behind the scenes. Join our team today.
Recent monsoon rain in Arizona has helped the state significantly. The latest drought monitor was released today and shows how Arizona's drought conditions are improving. According to the National Weather Service office in Phoenix, 52% of Arizona is in extreme or exceptional drought. This is an 84% decrease from last week. There is still moderate and severe drought throughout the state as well. Yet Tucson has broken the record for its wettest July in history. And the Weather Service stated that Tucson has received more than 7 inches of rain as of yesterday. And although Phoenix hasn't broken any records yet, this is its wettest July since 2013. An expert explains what this means for the remainder of the summer.
Right now, we have a very persistent monsoon circulation in place. So we're optimistic that the precipitation that we've seen so far is going to continue, at least for a couple weeks. We'll see beyond that. But right now, it looks favorable that we might see some additional gains in our short-term drought conditions.
He says some parts of the state are still a year behind in moisture and precipitation. So the current monsoons are only impacting Arizona's drought conditions for a short term. And it's important to remember that the drought is still with us and that the long-term impacts will be here for a while.
Some clouds rolled through in the afternoon, providing some relief from the sun. Let's go to Katie Cheshire in the Weather Center to see how the forecast looks. Katie?
If you are in the valley today, you may have noticed that overcast skies and a little bit of storm showers coming through this afternoon. That's pretty consistent with what's going on in the region. You can see this storm is moving up from about the center of the state towards the northwest and into Nevada. By Saturday, there's only going to be this little bit of left in the Phoenix area. As for what that means for your evening tonight, it's pretty consistent with a 15% chance of storm showers all evening, and it will get under 100 degrees pretty much as soon as the sun sets, which gives you a good chance to get out there and maybe enjoy a nice evening popsicle on the patio. Your state highs tomorrow are 102 in Phoenix. That's pretty much the highest on the map, along with Lake Havasu City and Yuma. You can see that in the same way the storm is moving from the middle up to the northwest, there's that cooler band of temperatures following that pattern, with the Grand Canyon coming in at only 75 and Show Low at only 77. For your 8-day forecast, the rest of your weekend follows a similar pattern to tomorrow, with a 20% chance of rain every day and temperatures in that low 100s range. As for your work week, you can see that on Monday there's still that chance of rain. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are predicted to be definitely clear, a little bit higher temperature there, getting up almost to 110 degrees. And Friday, there might be another slight chance of storms moving in to the valley. In the Weather Center, Katie Cheshire, Cronkite News.
How old do you have to be to go to college anyway? After the break, we show it might be younger than you think. Stick around.
Every day I wake up, my first thought is, how can I serve this community?
The biggest hurdle was not taking PTSD personally.
Would you welcome, please, the amazing.
Everybody that watches this, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.
It's prime time on your time. Watch Prime Afternoons every weekday on Arizona PBS. Did you miss a show in the evening? Then catch up on Prime Afternoons. Your favorite dramas.
No more bloody heroics.
Antiques Roadshow.
Really?
Nature and Nova.
It's time to reintroduce some wonder into this miracle of nature.
All of the best from PBS on Prime Afternoons. Weekdays starting at 1:30, only on Arizona PBS. Take a journey with Arizona PBS. Join us every Sunday afternoon for Destination Drama. Watch all your favorite PBS dramas like Grantchester.
I'm William Davenport, new vicar of Grantchester.
Poldark.
Nothing in my life has meaning without you.
And Victoria.
I know that I'm young, but I know my duty.
And if you missed a recent primetime drama, we'll help you catch up on those too. Destination Drama. Every Sunday afternoon at 1. Only on Arizona PBS.
At Cronkite News, learn to work behind the camera for studio production. Our students spend time learning the ins and outs of all that it takes to run a newscast. From setting up the studio to building exciting graphics, studio production provides a job for everyone. Whether it be running audio, technical directing, or directing the newscast, students can experience the action behind the scenes. Join our team today.
A survey from the nonprofit group Junior Achievement of Arizona shows the pandemic affected teens in school performance and their mental health. The survey found more than a third of students say they will require emotional support in order to get through the year. The study surveyed more than 1,000 students between the ages of 13 and 17. Junior Achievement Vice President of Strategic Impact Ann Landers told KTAR that about 40% of students feel they are behind educationally due to the pandemic. She says that the support will have to come from mentors, teachers, and others in their lives. The survey found a majority of students rated the quality of their education during the pandemic was fair to poor. It also found that about a third of those surveyed showed concerns about attending school in person. Health experts in the state worry about the course of school in the fall due to the rise of the Delta variant.
For most students, the pandemic was a disruption that turned their worlds upside down. However, for one high school sophomore, this experience is leading her to graduating from high school at the age of 16. Isabella Fredrickson introduces us to this young, soon-to-be graduate.
Gabriela Perez Ayala is a student at ASU Prep Digital. She just turned 16 and graduates this year. In January, she will be attending Arizona State University.
At ASU Prep Digital, I was able to take college credits through ASU, and I'll be graduating with 4 of them.
ASU Prep Digital is an online kindergarten through 12th grade school and diploma granting program. The school says its mission is to personalize education and improve outcomes for all students.
So I think it's really the school for any type of learner if you want to accelerate or even go slower, if that's what you want.
The school says each student is assigned a learning success coach, like Stephanie Bortmus.
It's similar to like school counseling, guidance counseling at your traditional brick and mortar school times a million with a much more personal touch.
Bortmus says as ASU Digital Prep is a part of ASU, it offers an online accelerated path towards college.
Is our students are eligible to take ASU courses in high school, so they get college credit.
Gabriela Perez Ayala credits her success to her own learning success coach.
There's just so many opportunities that I don't think students really realize that are available to them. And ASU Prep kind of just points it out like, hey, you should do this if you want to do this. Or like, it's here if you want it, you know? So.
In Phoenix, Isabella Fredrickson, Cronkite News.
Perez will be starting her freshman year at college at Arizona State University in January.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.